Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your sources, the really fascinating ones, and pull out those key nuggets of knowledge. Today we're going on a journey, but maybe not the usual kind. We're diving deep into, well, the roots of human speech itself. Have you ever been, learning a new language or even just heard a word from somewhere else and thought, that sounds familiar? Like mother, maybe, or madre in Spanish, mutter in German, mats in Russian, mitera in modern Greek, mom in Punjabi. Sort of weird, right? Like they all share some secret connection. So our mission today is to uncover these connections, these really astonishing links revealed by our proto-language, Proto-Indo-European. We want to see what these like ancient echoes tell us about the people who spoke it thousands of years ago. And we'll be using your article, Indo-Europeans, Connections Revealed by Our Proto-Language, to guide us.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating, and something scholars noticed centuries ago, is exactly that feeling, that sense of a deep connection. By the 18th century, philologists, these are the scholars totally dedicated to studying language in its historical context, right? They'd gathered just so much evidence, really compelling stuff, enough to establish this huge family, the Indo-European language family.
And that's not just a few languages, is it?
Oh, not at all. It's massive. A linguistic lineage stretching from India across Europe all the way to the Atlantic. It covers languages spoken by billions today. English, Spanish, Hindi, Russian, Persian, loads of others.
Oh.
And this discovery, it led to this really foundational theory, the idea of a single common tongue, a hypothetical one, of course, a proto-language, the ultimate ancestor, which then spread out, evolved into ancient languages like Latin, Greek, Sanskrit.
And then into the languages we speak now.
Exactly. It really shows how languages aren't static. They're living things. They grow, they change, they move over these vast timescales.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. This proto-language, if it existed thousands of years ago, way before writing as we know it, how on earth do linguists even start reconstructing it? It sounds, I don't know, almost impossible, like linguistic detective work in the fog of time.
It absolutely is a detective story, and yeah, really challenging one. It relies on what the article calls good old data processing, but on a huge scale.
Data processing.
Yeah, think about sorting through just mountains of linguistic data. Linguists carefully compare words, grammar, structures from hundreds of languages, living ones, extinct ones, all from the Indo-European family.
Okay.
They're hunting for patterns, systematic sound correspondences, shared roots, like finding the same fingerprint across lots of different documents. And from those patterns, they can sort of distill the common bits and reconstruct these hypothetical proto-words and proto-grammar, too.
Like the mother example you gave.
Precisely. That consistent im sound, then often a t or id sound, across so many variations, that lets linguists propose a proto-word like im as the ancestor. The little star, by the way, that asterisk, that just means it's reconstructed, it's inferred, not actually found written down anywhere.
So it's not like finding some ancient stone tablet with PIE on it. It's reverse engineering. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge intellectual task. But you mentioned skepticism. What makes it tricky for some people?
Well, the timescale mainly, it's just vast. We're potentially talking 10,000 years ago, maybe 4,000, somewhere in that huge range. And over that much time, languages change enormously. Sounds shift, meanings drift away, words get borrowed. Whole grammar systems can transform.
Right, so things could get pretty fuzzy over millennia.
Exactly. So some skeptics ask, can we really reconstruct something accurately over that long? Is it maybe too speculative, a bit fanciful? But despite those real challenges, the patterns that emerge, they are incredibly consistent. The systematic links across so many languages, they're just too strong to ignore. So the temptation, as the article says, to compare and draw conclusions, it just persists because the echoes are real. They're not random. They point to a shared past.
Okay, and that's where it gets really interesting for me. Once we have these reconstructed words, these like linguistic ghosts, what do they tell us about the people, the Proto-Indo-Europeans? What was their society like? Their priorities, their daily lives?
Exactly. The language becomes this amazing archaeological tool, not for digging up pots, but for digging up concepts, societal structures. It lets us make some pretty educated guesses about their proto-society. Like the article points out, they were probably quite warlike.
Warlike.
Well done words.
Yeah, it's not just a feeling. Linguists have reconstructed at least 7 different proto-words for strike.
7. Think about that. 7 ways to talk about hitting or striking, each maybe with a slightly different meaning. One example is slack. That's the root that eventually gave us the English word slay. The sheer number suggests conflict, or at least being ready for it, was really embedded in their world, maybe central to how they organized things or defended themselves.
7 words for strike. That paints a pretty intense picture. Like, they were always ready for a fight. But surely their world wasn't just about conflict.
Oh, not at all. And that's the cool part about these reconstructions. You get nuances. While the strike words show one side, other clues show a more settled society. There's actually strong evidence they were rooted in a settled life, not just nomads. We find numerous proto-words for homestead and home.
Like actual houses.
Yeah. A great example is dymen. That leads straight to Polish dym for house, and our English word domestic. That suggests more than just shelter. It implies permanence, community, household life. They were building things, settling down.
Okay, so settled. Building homes. But organized, too, I bet. That suggests some kind of leadership, right?
Absolutely. Seems like anarchy wasn't really their thing. There's a well-supported proto-root, regs. It means ruler or king. And from that root, we get words like Latin rex, king, and Hindi raja, also king or ruler. That points pretty clearly to social hierarchy, a concept of authority, probably a structured political system governing these communities. So yeah, warriors, settled villages, rulers. It's getting quite complex.
It really is. We're building a whole society from words. What about more personal stuff like family, marriage? Do words hint at gender roles?
They offer some fascinating little hints, but we have to be careful. Meanings change over time, remember. The source mentions the PIE word for marry. It's the ancestor of our word wed. And it seems related to ved. That's a Russian root meaning to lead or to manage.
To lead or manage. Interesting connection.
It is. It could suggest, maybe, that marriage was seen as, well, leading or managing a household, perhaps reflecting certain social roles or expectations back then. It's just a glimpse, not a definite statement, but it shows how deep cultural ideas can get baked into language.
Okay, and inside those homes, what were they eating? I'm always curious about the food.
Well, based on the words, they definitely appreciated food, and especially dairy.
Dairy, like milk and cheese.
Yep. There's a really impressive number of proto-words specifically for berry stuff, like melg. You can almost hear milk in that, right?
Yeah, you can. Melg, milk. That's clear.
And it's not just one word. It's like a whole family of dairy-related terms. It tells us dairy farming, milking animals, using milk, maybe making cheese or yogurt. It was a big deal, central to their diet, their economy. So they weren't just settled farmers. They were also skilled with animals, living where they could raise dairy herds.
That's amazing. Melg to milk. Makes you wonder what else they were up to. Did they have, like, tools? Technology?
Oh, they certainly did. The language shows some significant advances. They weren't primitive. They used plows. Crucial for settled farming, obviously. And they had wheeled vehicles.
Wheels. Okay, that's a big one.
Huge. The proto-word rotho is a great example. It's linked directly to Spanish rueda, wheel, and English rotate. Having wheels would have totally changed transport trade, maybe even warfare, connecting people, moving stuff around, a dynamic, innovative society.
So plows, wheels, dairy, they sound pretty industrious. But did they ever, kick back, relax?
Seems like it. The evidence suggests they knew how to enjoy themselves, too. They weren't all work. They brewed and enjoyed beer.
Beer, of course.
Yep, haelut. That's the proto-ancestor of English ale and Latvian Ellis. Having a word for beer suggests more than just knowing how to make it. It suggests leisure, maybe gatherings, parties, a social culture around drinking.
Wow. It's just incredible how these old sounds paint such a detailed picture. Daily life, war, society, food, tech. Even their drinks. It's like a cultural blueprint hidden in the words.
It really is.
What stands out most to you in all that detail? It's not just the language reflects culture, but how specifically it seems to do it here. We're seeing their priorities, aren't we?
Exactly. It's the depth of it. We're not just getting vague ideas. We're seeing evidence for specific tools, like the plow. Complex social structures, like kingship, even food preferences that love for dairy. The fact we can reconstruct so many specific terms for farming, animals, transport, ruling, it tells us these weren't just minor details. They were fundamental parts of their world. It really shows the power of linguistic reconstruction to bring a lost world back to life, even without their own written records. It highlights just how deeply language and culture are woven together.
So we've got this incredibly rich picture of their lives. Conflict, homes, food, tech, beer. Sounds like a really influential culture spreading out.
Yeah.
But if they were so widespread, where did it all start? Where was the original homeland?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's the one thing we really don't know for sure, and probably never will with certainty.
Really? We know all this other stuff, but not where they came from.
It seems that way. Scholars have tried for ages to pinpoint it. One approach was using reconstructed plant and animal words, like vagos for birch or heclos for horse, the ancestor of equine. The hope was, okay, if we know what plants and animals they knew words for, maybe we can find a region where all those things exist.
Ah, like biological fingerprinting. Find the habitat that matches the vocabulary.
Sort of, yeah. But there's a big problem. The meanings of those words probably shifted over thousands of years. A word for a specific type of birch might have later just meant light-barked tree if they moved somewhere else. Or heclos for horse could have broadened to mean any fast animal, maybe. It makes it really hard to pin down specific species or locations.
So the words might point to general concepts, not exact species found only in one place.
Exactly right. And because of that uncertainty, all the scientific proposals for a homeland, and they've suggested everywhere from northern India to the Russian steppes, Anatolia, the Baltics, they all remain pretty unconvincing, highly debated. It looks like the geographical starting point is just going to stay a mystery.
That's a powerful reminder, isn't it? That some questions just don't have neat answers. And maybe, like the article hints, that's okay. So nobody can climb on their high heclos and claim some kind of direct exclusive ownership of this heritage.
Exactly. It keeps the focus on the shared linguistic connections, which are undeniably real, rather than letting it get tangled up in modern politics or nationalism. Language moves, it changes, it belongs to everyone it touches, not just one place on a map.
Okay, so moving away from the deep pans for a second.
Yeah.
What does all this mean for you, the listener, especially if you're learning an Indo-European language right now? Is there like a practical benefit, a language learning superpower hidden in here?
Oh, absolutely. I really think there is. For learners, discovering these deep word connections can be incredibly helpful. It boosts memory, it makes vocabulary stick in a way just memorizing lists never does. We all make little mental links anyway, right? To remember new words.
Yeah, definitely. Little tricks.
Right, so maybe you're learning German and you see lime, which means glue. You might think, oh, that sounds a bit like English slime. They're both gooey. You might guess they're related, maybe because they're both Germanic languages. But then imagine finding out that both words actually come from the same proto-word, slay, an ancient root. And then finding out that root also connects to the Russian word sluna, which means saliva.
Whoa. Clue, slime, saliva.
Yeah.
All from one root.
That's wild. That totally changes how you see the words. They're not just random items on a list anymore. They're part of this huge, interconnected family tree.
Exactly. It opens up this whole new dimension of relatedness. It makes the words more memorable because they have a story,
Yeah.
a deep history, and sometimes these word journeys are just dizzying. Take the proto-word morui. Okay, it leads to Latin vermis, worm, and our English word worm. Makes sense. But it also connects to Italian formica, modern Greek merminki, and Persian mushe. And all of those mean ant.
Worms and ants from the same root. How? Right. It's not obvious at all on the surface. If you're learning Italian, formica seems totally unrelated to worm. But knowing they share that ancient root morue gives formica this hidden anchor. It makes it stickier in your brain. It really encourages you to trust your gut feeling sometimes when you notice similarities. Look for those parallels. Often there's a deep reason for them.
Trust your linguistic intuition. I
Yeah.
love that. It makes learning feel more like exploring and less like studying.
Yeah.
And the article also mentioned numbers, didn't it, as another really obvious area of connection.
Yes, the numbers are often remarkably similar. A huge help for learners. Look at one. You've got Norwegian in, Irish a foreign, Portuguese, a Persian yek, you can hear the echoes.
Mhm.
Or two, Norwegian two, Irish a do, Portuguese dua, Persian do.
Wow, yeah. Very clear.
These aren't just coincidences. They're direct descendants from that shared past. Once you see that pattern, it makes learning numbers across these languages much easier. It's like getting a cheat code.
It feels like this whole exploration, this deep dive, it's not just about language history. It's about, I don't know, the spirit of discovery itself, how we learn, maybe even being okay with being wrong sometimes.
It really is. There's a lovely little story in the source about that. The author wondered if yeast and Easter were related. Made sense, right? Yeast makes bread rise. Easter celebrates Christ rising.
Ah, I can see the logic. A nice parallel.
Totally. But a quick check of the etymology. Nope, completely wrong. Easter comes from a PIE root, meaning sunrise, like the dawn, and yeast. It comes from a proto-root, meaning boil or foam, much less poetic.
Uh-huh. So much for that neat theory.
Exactly. But the author notes the amusement in making those guesses, even wrong ones, is part of the joy. Learning language, learning anything really, is about being curious, being brave enough to make those leaps. And yeah, being prepared to find out you were wrong. It's often in those moments when you get corrected or find the real connection that you learn the most. It opens up this world of connections you couldn't even imagine otherwise. It's how we push our understanding forward.
What an amazing trip into the past. We've really seen how these shared word roots connect us across huge stretches of time and space, giving us these surprisingly clear pictures of daily life, beliefs, even what people thousands of years ago ate and drank. Warriors, farmers, dairy fans, beer drinkers. The Proto-Indo-Europeans left their mark right inside the words we use every single day. And for you, if you're learning a language, this isn't just history class stuff. It's like a secret weapon, a way to make those connections, spark your intuition, understand more deeply, and really make new words stick.
Yeah, and if you think about the bigger picture here, it just reminds us that language is this living, evolving thing, like a giant tapestry woven over millennia. Every single word carries these echoes of the past, whether we notice them or not. This whole deep dive, it really sparks a sense of wonder, I think, for those ancient roots hidden just beneath the surface of our modern words. And maybe that leaves you, the listener, with a question. What other unexpected connections, what other linguistic family secrets might be hiding in plain sight in the languages around you, just waiting for your curiosity to uncover them?
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and join us next time for another deep dive.